Hi everyone, here is your video for week 9, and so hopefully you had a good time and enjoyed planning your first environmental outdoor education lesson. I hope that was fun. It is super fun to teach those lessons. I wish we were in person this term and we would have had the opportunity to do that as we did in the spring. But looking forward, hopefully you will remember and incorporate some of these lessons in your classroom once you get into the classroom and take the students outdoors. So we're going to wrap up this week and then start on week 9. So just a couple of things. We're going to start talking about STEM. And so STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. We talked a little bit about how do you teach science in elementary. One of the ways you do that is by integrating science and technology and engineering into other subject areas like math and literacy. So your environmental lesson connected to literacy, this lesson will connect to math as well as technology and engineering. And so we're not going to plan another lesson, which we might do if we were in person and we're able to teach. But this, instead, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you evaluate existing curriculum, and for both STEM components and for the 5 E's. So you get more familiar with, again, that instructional model, the 5 E's, how to plan lessons that are engaging and incorporate inquiry, and just get students an opportunity to do science rather than just learn about science. And so there's one thing I hope you take from this class, this is really important, is that students are going to be bored if you are teaching them about science. They are going to be engaged and interested and will love being at school if they get to do science, if they actually get to engage in these activities. So this week I'm going to have you evaluate. You'll have a choice to do either the STEM Catch Me If You Can Gingerbread Man lesson. This is a kindergarten lesson. And so this is a lesson that was designed, and so you can pick that one. That one is a PDF, so if you choose that one, you'll read the lesson plan. And the other one is a first grade lesson, and this one is a video. You do have to create a free account to access this, but then you're going to watch the lesson. And what you're going to do is you're going to evaluate it for two things. You're going to evaluate it for the STEM attributes and also for the 5 E's. So linked in the assignment, you will see that there is a template. Once again, there's a part 1 and there's a part 2 of the template. And so this is what the template looks like. And so the first thing is you're going to go through the lesson. Oh, and I need to change that so it shouldn't say oil spill. That's the lesson we evaluated a different term. So you're going to evaluate one of those lessons, and you're going to look through it, and you're going to see what of these components are actually present in the lesson, and if they're not present, then you're going to describe down here how you would incorporate that into the lesson. How would you add to the lesson to make sure that it touched on all of these things? The second part is you're going to go back and evaluate the lesson for engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So again, taking all of these things we've been talking about and learning about all term, you're going to use that information to evaluate one of these 2 lessons. And this is what you will submit on Canvas as your assignment. So that is the lesson. That's the template. It's linked here a couple of times. And that's what you'll be turning in by November 22nd. So you will also be able to go into our Google Drive, and this will be cleaned up, but there'll be here here's a copy of the gingerbread man. Here's the checklist that you have to complete, and I look forward to seeing what you think about these lessons. So good luck with that. And just a couple more things you're going to want to do. So there are also some information about in week 8, there was some information under read, watch, and listen. That is, why do we teach STEM? What is STEM? So before you complete this assignment, make sure that you have watched these videos. And then the other resources, because those will be helpful in understanding, okay, what does this mean? What does it look like? And then in the past, we've had resources on the 5 E's, and I think It was week 7 that had, this one's really helpful when you're evaluating the 5 E's. It tells you exactly what they are. That's under week 7. So you can go back to that one and you can have that document with you or print it out or looking at it when you're evaluating these lessons during week 8 and week 9 and comparing those. So watch those videos first. And then the other thing is there was some information on citizen science, and the reason I added those was I usually cover this in class and when we're doing our environmental lessons. So there's really cool ways that you can get your students involved with actual scientists and scientist projects. And so the citizen science projects talk about that and how you can have your whole class join a large-scale science research project. For example, one of them might be tracking the migration of monarch butterflies. And so that's one of the projects they could get involved in, and they get information and training on, how do you participate? What data do you need to collect? So you're watching for monarch butterflies, you're looking for signs that they're migrating. And so your data is then entered into a huge database that includes data from all over the world sometimes. And then your students get to see how science is used to really get evidence and learn about things like climate change and what's happening with the monarch butterflies. Are they consistently year after year doing the same thing, or are things changing based on things like climate change? So some great projects to look at. Find one that might relate to your environmental ed lesson or one that's completely different. So just take a look at those, see what those are about. Week 9, you have, this is a great video on engineering and like, why do we all want to be engineers? Like, this is such a cool approach to engineering, and it really, I think, helps us to understand that engineers are not just people who build bridges. Engineers are people who build everything. Like, everything we use today has been engineered by someone, from the clothes you wear to the phone you use to the car you drive to the pencils we write with to everything has had to be engineered. And so really getting kids to start thinking about themselves as both scientists and engineers, and how we constantly put things together to make things work better. So this is a great video. This is the one, I think we might have watched this at the beginning of the term about, why is it important to teach science and STEM? Just to remind you, it's really important for kids to learn science and STEM. And then here are the lessons, either the gingerbread man or the first grade lesson. And those are the ones you're going to evaluate. So good luck with your work this week evaluating those, and we're almost to the end of the term, but I hope you're learning to have fun with science and learning how you might use it in your elementary classroom. See you next week.